Hello everyone, and my name is Sugi Yamagawa, and today on VTubing my slow life hobbies in my 30s, we're going to be doing some chestnut roasting. So, got the fire started. Already got some chestnuts here. So, let's have some fun. I also have the fun book we're going to go through later, but that's going to be like a later thing. But the roasting chestnut thing is going to be the more of the effort we're going to be primarily concerned with, which... Wait a second, where did I leave that over? Oh, I left that over there. One moment. That's what happens when I get into like texting friends like right before stream is I leave my pan somewhere where it's inaccessible. Which, by the way, this is my roasting pan. This is the pan I use for roasting chestnuts. I kind of do talk a lot a bit about how much I stand Costco. Well, I bought this because of Costco. It was at Costco once, and I bought it. So, since I actually have a burr here, I should... No, I don't want to use that goatskin glove. That one shrunk because a certain somebody put his Dutch oven on it one time. But yeah, here is a bit of a sample of a chestnut burr. This is what a chestnut burr looks like, and here's what it looks like when it is just full of nut. And this is what you usually will see like on the tree. There's usually there's a small circle little stem this hangs from. But this is actually one I forged last week. Yeah, last week. So this was a chestnut I got, and this is actually kind of just a sort of a demonstration of, well, just actually a showpiece of what a chestnut burr looks like, and it looks like me just handling this has caused the nuts to fall out. But yeah, usually you get 2 chestnuts, but also you can sometimes find a third. But the third one's usually gets crushed between its brethren, and then like each of the other brethren will have like a flat side to them, which is really important for one of the other details that's really important when you get into like roasting chestnuts. So, also, these are all Chinese chestnuts, both the ones I forged, and I also bought a bag, which right now is been mainly keeping it in my I think I saw a chestnut of note, but it disappeared into the mesh of the bag. But we're gonna definitely be roasting quite a few of these up. We're gonna also roast quite a few of those. Which, by the way, you do want to keep... So, for storage, you want to keep your chestnuts cold. You want to keep them in the refrigerator. Ideally, also in a mesh bag. You don't want to keep them in a Ziploc bag. The people that I actually bought those chestnuts from, they actually handed them to me in sandwich bags. And that's not the best thing, because the thing is chestnuts have a lot of water to them, and start to develop a rot to them. Usually it takes the form. Usually they get like a bluish green mold, usually starting here at the top part, because that's like the part where all the nutrients and such from the tree came into the nut. So that's actually that's an example of one that kind of starts to mold a little bit, and then an unmolded one be nice and clear like that. Now, mold actually really isn't like the biggest issue, especially if it's just a little bit on top, because the chestnuts have a pretty reasonable shell, but we're not actually going to be busting any shells open just yet. We are not going to get into that. So, for roasting chestnuts, the most important thing you can do is you want to add an X. You want to score the whole of the chestnut. The reason for that is this shell is essentially airtight. It's airtight. So if you start roasting them over the fire, and chestnuts actually have a lot of water to them, and when all that water starts to boil, it's trapped in the nut and has nowhere to go. And when it has nowhere to go, it's gonna go like popcorn. But you don't quite get the result as popcorn. It's not as desirable. Okay. So, we got some scored chestnuts here. Also, these are Chinese chestnuts. These are actually not Native American chestnuts. There are a native variety of American chestnuts, but those got wiped out in the big bad sad event over 100 years ago. Okay. Is this tea drinkable? Slightly drinkable. I'll take it. But yeah, we'll get started. And we're just going to get started with these. I'm going to get started with the chestnuts I have detected a little bit of rot on, in addition to the ones I foraged. I want to have, these are going to be my first victims for tonight. There's going to be more though. There's actually going to be plenty more. Where that came from. I'm going to get my grill. Great. There. That's good. Actually, I can somewhat handle that. Which is good also. So I'm going to be putting finished roasted chestnuts in there. Then in this bowl, I'm going to be adding scored chestnuts because, well, this is going to be kind of like, we're going to work on one thing while also doing the other thing. So, which, if I was smart, I technically did. Technically have a third bowl. But this bowl is actually going to become very important later. It's going to be very important later. Let's see. Oh yeah. So you can see as the chestnuts roast, that shell actually really starts to open up, which is a good sign. Actually, I think that's pretty good for maybe tonight's stream. I don't know. I might roast some more. We'll see. But we'll start with that. That seems a good starting amount. So I'm going to go ahead while those are doing their thing. I'm going to work on getting the next set ready. Now, putting an X in these more globe ones, a little bit more tricky. And also when you're trying to score them, I like to use a small knife, something that's easy for me to work the blade. And it's also with these that I don't try to get too ambitious with my X. It's a small X, but it's an X. But sometimes you get ones with a flat side, and the flat side ones are easy to get a good score on, whereas these are a lot more troublesome. Exceedingly more troublesome. Oh yeah. Okay. But yeah, generally speaking, I think we'll try 5 to 10 minutes for the roasting time. Somewhere in around about that time frame. I don't have a lot of fire getting into my pan, Granted, I certainly do have a lot of heat under it. You can definitely tell that from just how they're acting right now. Oh, hey, Yoshiharu. Hello, hello. How's life treating you? And boop. Today's just going to be chill chestnut roasting. Nothing spectacular. Nothing amazing. But chill though. And I like chill. There we go. Then I'm going to have some tea. Because the tea is the good. Oh yeah. That's what happens when the in-between chestnut actually starts to, like, doesn't get squished. Because if it gets squished, it looks like this. And if it just manages to grow a decent bit, you'll get a chestnut that's like, it's like flat on two sides. Good, I'm eating some candy apples and I love the vibes. Oh man, candy apples. Ooh. I wonder if, I don't know if I'll do that. I think I've got an apple crisp recipe that I'm sitting on that I'll probably do at some point. Because I'm thinking for Spooky Month I might do a few dessert themed cooking streams. Ooh. I've slid nicely through that. Very nice. However, though, horizontal, not so much. Not so much on that. Okay. The fire's been reasonably calm so far today. Not sure if good thing or bad thing. Okay. And just because I want them to roast a little bit more thoroughly, just give them a nice shake. Which ideally that's what you want to do, is just like shake them every once in a while. But granted, I think, judging by the amount of black I'm seeing, they're probably getting real close. But honestly, when you char the shell of them, they will they actually do a pretty good job of the shell falls off a lot easier. And then I think I'll put an X in one more, and then I'll be taking those off. And yeah. Bloop. And go. So, let me grab the right glove for what I want to do. And I think I'll actually transfer these to here, since these are very hot. But yeah. Ooh. Ooh. Actually. But yeah, they had a really good sizzle to them. And that's just like the steam, because the better part of the chestnut fruit is actually water. It's basically water, starch, sugar. I don't know about the protein content though. I know these are not high in fat. They're not high fat. They're not a high-fat nut like a hickory nut has a lot of fat to it. I think oaks have a bit more fat to them. But for now, that has to cool down. That has to cool. Be careful. Be careful with knives, people. Yeah. I got an ouchie, but no blood. Or at least no blood yet. It's easier when you have like flat sides. The round ones you gotta be really careful with. Yeah. No, it was. I poked myself, but nothing like bad. Don't need to be bleeding today. At least not on stream. Besides, I've already been there, done that. I've already cleared that part of my bingo card. Did I do that this year, though? When did I do it this year? Did I do it this year? I may have done it this year. I know during one of the Sawhorse building streams. Wow. My saw jumped out of my cut and like just landed. You bled on stream. I noticed I drew blood and was like, ooh, I need to like cover this up quickly. Granted, it's not like I'm monetized or anything, so. Granted, it would be funny if showing blood on stream got you demonetized or something. Not that I would know, but. There we go. But that's like the bloodiest injury I've had. Which really wasn't a lot of blood. Like, I was able to take care of it with like a paper towel. And now I have a proper first aid kit in the garage. So, should any future owies occur, I can take care of them. Unless it's like a big owie, in which case it's gonna be like, sorry guys, I have more pressing matters and I must address them, and I must get to them. But I don't want that to happen. Both from also like from one also like an entertainment perspective, but also that's good. You can treat it. Yeah. I actually bought a bunch of medical supplies recently because I could get them for like really cheap, and I also I mainly was after I found some like hospital grade gauze and what's called Coban, which is like a wrapping for stuff. And yeah, I was able to get my hands on some of that stuff, and I was like, man, this is like really good stuff. If I ever have need for it. Ideally, I don't have need for it. It's best to be safe than sorry. Yes. Well, it's also just good to have that stuff in case of a medical emergency, which I don't want to have a medical emergency. Has anyone got any idea what healthcare is like in America? It's not great. Well, I mean, the care's alright, but the price is not okay. Granted, supposedly I have really good health insurance, but I don't actually know because I haven't really used it much, other than like checkups, which my insurance pays for checkups and my insurance pays for vaccines. So that's pretty much the extent of the insurance I've used in like the past 2 years. I haven't. The last time I had to really interact with the American healthcare system was when I got hit by a van riding my bicycle, which was a really good experience because this means I'm like warmed up for truck coon. So if truck coon comes after me, I already have like a reference event that I can be like, okay, this is how a van impacts me. Now I'm a little bit more prepared for the truck. Granted, I don't planning on becoming a light novel protagonist anytime soon, or any sort of protagonist. I'm just a silly guy. Granted, I am finding in these, they are starting to exhibit some molding. Granted, this is actually really light molding, which this is what an unmolded one, as just like a side-by-side comparison. But yeah. I'd rather be a silly PC. Yeah. Just be someone off on the sidelines just having fun. Don't need to be the hero of a story to have fun with life. There's all sorts of fun. There's all sorts of fun in life to be had. Like this. This is a form of fun. There's also lots of other hobbies. Like, I mean, you can garden, you can woodwork, you can do art. I mean, there's so many fun things to be enjoyed, which also I will be enjoying. I'll be elevating the levels of fun experienced, and by elevating levels of fun experience, that is middle-aged man for code for there's going to be beer enjoyed later, but not now. You could do writing too. Oh no, not writing. Writing is also a form of fun, but it is not a form of fun for me. I do not like writing. I have never liked writing. Like, when I was a young kid, like writing, like just the like act of like taking time to write stuff down, like my blood pressure would go up, I'd get like shaky, my chest will get all like clenchy, like it was like just the act of writing would cause me to just have like a bodily reaction to it. I love writing and I love reading my books. I love books. Books are amazing. Yeah. Like I would actually have just like a reaction to just writing. Like I just rejected writing so much until essentially what was my high school years, when I basically forced myself to sit down and write. And I just did that. Just forced myself to like write through the fact that my body really did not want to write, and well, I can write now. I'm not good at it, I'm not great at it, but I can do the thing. I can do the thing if I need to do the thing. You're allergic to writing. Yes, I am allergic to writing. That is one of the things about me. Yeah. Because we'll do this over here. Actually, no, really, actually. You know what? Come back. You're fine. You're fine, girl. Great. You can stay there. Okay. So, these have been chilling for a little bit. Let's start peeling some of these. Crazy fun fact to tell. Yeah. Ooh, okay. So, here is. Which, granted, I have to peel the next one like right next to the mic because of just the noises. But as we can see, there's our little X, and this is what the nut looks like. It's a little bit burnt, has a nice yellowy golden texture to it. So, oh man, yep. And that's what the inside looks like. It's not like super fluffy, but it's good. It's also kind of sweet. It has a bit of a sweetness to it. Okay. So, while I do munching, I'm going to turn up the volume on this mic, and then I'm going to open up this chestnut because I think it's the sound of cracking one of these shells is very ASMR-y. And there is the Chestnut ASMR fan service. But yeah, I think it sounds very ASMR-y. And you can also like split these open. Oh. Ooh. Ooh, man. Well, we have plenty of chestnuts. We have plenty of chestnuts. But yeah, when I was cracking that first one open, I was just like, oh man, this just sounds like something straight out of a ASMR video. I love your laugh. Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. That is the primary goal of the channel and why I do things, is to have fun. And that means laughing. Okay. So, we're gonna do this again. And now my voice is back. But man, I really like how this tastes, because it's like because music to my ears. Well, I'm glad you like it. But I gotta say, for like the taste, it's like it's kind of like a fairly firm mashed potatoes, kind of, where it like crumbles easy, but it's got a softness to it, and like the flavor is like, it's starchy with a bit of a butteriness to it. Yeah, and also a little bit of like a nut taste. These don't taste like super nutty. They're not like, they will not taste like walnuts or pecans or other things like this. These are a very starchy nut. Honestly, One of the few things I can compare these things to is acorns, which, depending on how ambitious I get with my foraging this year, I may or may not bring acorns on the stream because, well, I have to get acorns from the right. No, now I'm hungry again. Sorry about that. Well, so to do something about your hunger, and I may apologize for this later, is when you gather your acorns, when you do acorn gathering, well, one, you have to select it from the right trees, but two, after you've gathered your acorns, you will first do what's called a float test, where you basically take all the acorns, put them in some water. If they float, they're no good, get rid of them. You want the ones that sink. Then you take your acorns, and then you will put them in a bucket drilled with holes, similar to holes like what we have here on the chestnut frying pan. And you want to put like a plate or something to catch the acorn weevils that will come out. Which acorn weevils are like small little worms that are like, they're basically like tiny little like bacon bit protein nuggets that pop out of acorns, which is how you like complete the protein part of an acorn dish. And then you have to shell all the acorns, which I really don't think I could make shelling acorns entertaining on stream. And then you have to process the acorns, and the processing depends on the species you got your acorns from. Acorns from red oaks, you basically want to take those acorns and don't even bother to pick them up because they're going to be too bitter, like horrendously bitter. Like I have eaten a red oak acorn once, and it was one of the most intensely bitter things I've ever consumed. Don't recommend it for anyone. Just don't. Just don't. It's not even like worth trying to experience the thing once. It's sort of like with persimmons, but persimmons is more like an astringent thing, and you want white oak acorns, ideally from either like white oak itself, Quercus alba, or or you could go for like any other. Generally speaking, most of the white oaks are pretty good. And also for the acorns of like any oak, if they do have a bitter taste, but it's slightly a bitter taste, you can take the shelled acorn nuts, which is basically kind of what I have here, but from acorn. For those, you'll soak them in water, and the reason why acorns are bitter is because they have a substance in them called tannins. Tannins are substances used to tan hides. That's why they're called tannins. Originally, they were actually extracted from like oak bark and other natural sources, and that's how like people would tan hides like way back in the day. I'm talking too much. I should be doing some eatings. But yeah, you want to leach the tannins out. And you want to change the water every so often. Some Native Americans, what they would actually do is they'll take the acorns and they'll put them into, basically they'll put them in like woven baskets, and they'll submerge them in creeks. And then as the creek water goes through the acorns, it pulls all the tannins out, and then eventually they'll go back and collect their acorns and be like, hot diggity dog, we have food. Sort of like how I have food. I have food and tea, which is even better. So I've got 6 acorns. Not acorns. Oh no. Sugi's legendary one-track mind. But we're gonna go ahead and do a little bit of ASMR time with our remainders. So it's not often I get to do fan service, so I'll do some fan service. And there is all those chestnuts are done. Bitch. It's funny actually, this last one I've got a little bit toasted, but also I have this little bit of not good stuff. Got just a little bit of not goodness, which is fine. We can just knife that off and have plenty of good chestnut to enjoy. Which I actually need to work on something. I'm gonna get myself a little bit of butter here. Oh yeah, chestnuts are really good. They're definitely a top forageable in my opinion. Very top tier forageable. Actually, I'm just gonna cut all that off to have a nice even butter block. So for this butter, I'm gonna put it on that far corner where I have just like a little bit of heat coming off my coals, because like this, it's like warm, kind of toasty, but it's not like hot. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use that to melt some butter, and then I've got some other ingredients that I'm gonna use, and we're gonna make a drizzle. We're gonna make like a kind of a sauce for the chestnuts. Something to take the chestnuts to just like the next level. Because it's pretty good right now. But we could do better. I was thinking about throwing some wood on the fire, but I don't want to be too aggressive when I've got that butter being precariously there. I don't want any harm to come to my butter. Oh boy. That one's got some crunch. Go for it, bird. I know you want it. I got a bird on my sunshade, and it's kind of just hanging there. It's like, ooh, I see food, but there's a human nearby. I'm scared of the human. Sorry, bird, but I have my food. I got my food. You can have that food. And specifically, that's food laid out for the bird. Ooh. But yeah, that butter's melting nicely, so. We're very pro birds around here. Birds are good stuff. My favorite animal is the bird. Granted, it's typically not other people's favorite animals, but for me, my favorite bird is the emu. I am a huge fan of the mighty Australian emu. Mostly because when I was a wee lad, my uncle, he actually owned a mob of emus that he kept at my grandparents' place. So when I would go stay with my grandparents, because once a summer I would be sent to my ancestral homelands to hang out with the grandparents for like 2 weeks, and yeah, I also get to hang out with emus. And emus are also responsible, well, kind of responsible. It's a very small part of of building the character of Sugi Yamagawa. Primarily in the form of, back when I was really young, I love all animals, but my top favorite right now is bears, foxes, and birds. But yeah, when I was a wee lad, like this was like 3rd grade. I was messing around in the emu pens, and I actually cornered one of the emus in the pen. Well, lucky. And 3rd grade me, thinking I was big brain, was like, "Ha, bird, I have cornered you." The emu turns around, literally looks at me and goes, "I'm bigger than you, kid." And then I basically got roadrunnered by an emu. And by roadrunnered, basically imagine me being a Wile Coyote, little old me, and just the bird just going boosh past me. Wow. Once the dust settles, I then just peel myself up off the ground, and it's like, whoa, I got ran over. I got my butt kicked by a bird bigger than me. There's a lesson in being humble about this. Don't mess with birds bigger than you. They will kick your butt. I have had my butt kicked by a bird bigger than me. I was very lucky to have received that lesson at the age I was. It beats learning it now. Granted, if there's I don't know, if a bird's bigger than me at this point in my life, that's a very, very big bird. Granted, I think ostriches can get taller. Yep. Oh, I got sized up and like steamrollered. Man, those chestnuts are good. And I like this one. You can see it's kind of like lightly roasted. Some of the other ones earlier were like, they had a little bit of crunchiness to them. So I would say until I find crunchiness in this one. It looked good. Oh, no. Yeah, but they can get crunchy, and when they get crunchy, they're definitely... Oh, there we go. Melted butter. Okay. I got some melted butter. I got a fire to play with. Hello, beautiful burning wood. You. I choose you. This is the 114-year-old agricultural day. No. By no means you've missed the 114-year-old agricultural data. I literally just finished eating the first small batch of roasted chestnuts. We got some melted butter. It'll become very important later. And then this is the next batch. Just in time then. Oh, I don't know about that. I don't know about that. Considering how long it took me to get through that first batch, which was not a lot of chestnuts, by the way. It was like 10. But yes, I do have what you've come here for. The yearbook of the Department of Agriculture from the year 1911, which I have already stashed Pokemon cards and relevant information. Yeah, it was a great. Oh, with this amount of chestnuts, there's going to be some. Don't worry, there'll be more ASMR incoming. Let's see. I'm going to choose that position. Don the glove. And we'll get roasty. That book's pretty Titanic. You know what? I actually don't know what year the Titanic did its thing in. But I look at that book and I just see it as like, this book is before World War I, and then I'm like, yeah, that's just definitely quite some time ago. But hey, granted, I love old books. Mostly because I'm a strange human being. Another way to use Pokemon cards, yeah. But I really, I love to smell old paper. I really wish they could make like scented candles and like old paper smell. Now, granted, old paper smell is somewhat similar to. It kind of has sort of a somewhat similar character, if you will, to like old people smell, but it's a lot more mellow and just, and in my opinion, smells really good. If I could take like, well, if there's like 3 smells that I would always want to smell like, smell number 1 is going to be like a pile of fallen leaves. That is the number 1 smell I would always want to smell like. Smell number 2 is the smell of 100-plus-year-old paper, and then smell number 3 is the one I'm probably actually kind of smell like right now, and that's Campfire. But those are the 3 smells I like to smell like. Actually, wait a second. Rolling chestnuts in the pan is also decent ASMR. Pretty good too. Oi, oi. Yeah, there we go. Get a nice good heat on them. All that good stuff. Oh, pretty good top 3. Yeah. Thank you. I mean, there's other things. I mean, sassafras smells amazing, which that's like one of the real fun things about having a lot of sassafras in the wood shop to play around with is like, oh boy, when I start playing around with like sassafras, like things just start smelling like root beer, and it's like, yep, yep, I like this. Yes. Here, come here, you. Sweet glorious water. Which, technically speaking, I have a little bit of roasting. So this is going to be like a drizzle for the that butter we saw that's flying. We saw it flying on the bottom. No, just looks like. Okay, but basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a dip for the chestnuts. Now, introducing ingredient number 2, ground cinnamon, which is also made from a tree and smells nice. I really like cinnamon. Generally speaking, if I'm at the supermarket and they have candles available for sale, or like on a good sale, or like a good sale day, like I think it's the first Friday or Saturday in December, is Candle Day, and they'll have really good details on scented candles. I'm a big fan of the cinnamon scented candles, and also any of the pine ones. Well, any of the like forestry. Any of the ones that smell like tree. Like balsa, give it to me. Oh, yep, that handle's getting very warm. And those chestnuts are roasting up wonderfully. Wonderfully. Now, while they continue to roast, ingredient number 3. Pancake syrup, which, technically speaking, I should probably be using actual maple syrup, but... That's very on brand. Sugar cookie, they're warm. And so we're going to hit this with a good bit of maple syrup. And then I need to... also got so much maple syrup on my hands. There's a lot of maple syrup on the sides of that, but yeah. Just going to make a small little drizzle, and I'm probably, once I take the chestnuts off, I'll throw this back up over the fire, just because I want it to be reasonably warm to help make the syrup more viscous and to help my ingredients meld together. What we got? Yeah, those are getting pretty close to being done. But I'm gonna kinda... so I got them all on one side, away from the big flames. Just off here chilling. They're gonna cook for a little bit longer. And... second and final batch of chestnuts will be done. So we'll have chestnuts done, and then we get to move on to consuming the good stuff. And then at some point through consuming the good stuff, I'm going to... then we'll break out the 114-year-old agricultural data, and we'll start going through that, because I am looking forward to that, because I do enjoy my unnecessarily old agricultural data, and kind of an example of some of the information contained. It does have a lot of data on the prices of crops, and I was kind of like looking through it, and it was real funny to see the book complaining about the price of hops going from them being, because they were like, man, like in previous years, like the price of hops was like 10 to 20 cents a pound, but right now, well, this year, 1911, the price of hops has jumped up to a whole 30 cents a pound. Absolutely incredible. We got no idea why the price of hops is skyrocketing. Maybe because the world knows that Prohibition is going to be around the corner. Granted, I say that, and Prohibition's like, well... yeah, 1911. How much does a bushel of hops weigh? I actually don't know. I don't know, because, like, the thing is, for me, I deal with ounces and ounces, not even pounds. Because, like, the pale ale I brewed, I used probably like 4 ounces of hops, which is a quarter of a pound. Like, for me as like a home brewer, making like 5-gallon batches, like I don't, like even if I were to make like a pretty hop heavy IPA, we would be talking like 5 to 6 ounces of hops, maybe 7. If you're trying to be crazy. Granted, if you're trying to make a New England IPA, the amount of hops go up very quickly with those, but I haven't even looked at recipes for those. Okay. Yeah, that's interesting. Okay. So that pan's got to hang off to the side for reasons. primary reason is it's a little too hot. It's a little too hot to set on any of the surfaces I have here. We're gonna have our drizzle continue to pick up some additional heat, help make things more viscous, all that good stuff. And then once 0.30 cents equals to $10.23 according to random USDA inflation calculator today. I mean, that's still not bad. Like, so when I buy my packaged hops from my homebrew store, I think I pay it's either $2 or $2.50 an ounce for a packet, because they're sold in 1 ounce packets. Because the ounce is the most common way to use hops, because especially for a brew, you're wanting an ounce of this, an ounce of that, an ounce of this other thing. Like an Oktoberfest, like one of the batches of beer I got a bottle over the weekend. That Oktoberfest, that had 3 ounces of hops into it. So that actually seems reasonable in terms of in pricing. Oh, they're all ratio. Well, yeah, generally speaking, because like it's because like beer brewing recipes are all meant to be. That's actually boiling. I don't want boiling. I just want toasty. And I believe I have achieved toasty. But yeah, most beer recipes are all the standard beer recipe is the 5-gallon batch. Most of the recipes you'll find on the internet is for a 5-gallon batch of beer. You will occasionally find 10 gallons and maybe like odd size gallons, but that's rare. 10 gallon isn't really rare. I would just say a 10-gallon batch. A 10-gallon batch of beer is like uncommon as far as like just running into it as like a recipe. But a lot of beer recipes are just built in such a way to use the stuff that they basically have. Okay. Now I'm gonna grab my pan. I'm gonna see if this hurts the hold. Okay. And with that, that's chestnuts. Ooh. That is toasted chestnuts, right? Not toasted, roasted. But we got roasted chestnuts. If I had to toast these things, oh no, that's an idea. One of those terrible, terrible ideas. How dare I come up with a terrible, terrible idea? And that's not going to stay there. Stay. I'm just debating how easily these will cool in that bowl, because I want them to cool down, because right now these are probably handleable, but not for long. Not for long. Because if they sit in my hand, then it's like, ooh. Oh man. Okay, well, at least my buddy knows I'm streaming. Because he was texting me a lot earlier, being like, hey Sugi, let's come up with some Sunday plans. And I said, sure. Okay. Time for the ultimate delaying tactic of delaying tactics. Grab a can of beer. Ah. Ah. Yep. We have officially recreated the 3 great pillars of a male's happiness: fire, food, and beer. Cheers. Well, that's got to hang up there for... Eventually, it's going to get moved around. Let's see. Oh. Yep. Yeah, that still kind of hurts. I can't eat chestnuts just yet. What a great way to spend your day. Yes. Yes, it is a fantastic way to spend the day. I definitely am a big fan of this. Granted, it's also kind of like one of those things where, like, if you're going to be like an online entertainer, do something you enjoy doing, because then it's easier to have fun with it. And if you have fun with it, then chances are other people are more likely to have fun with it. It's not always copying the people you look up to. Because if I copied the person I looked up to, I'd have to move to Ohio. And I don't want to go to Ohio. Ohio is a dangerous place. It's a scary place. I mean, Ohio is basically the dark, shadowy area of America where no one's supposed to go. Granted, unfortunately for me, if I want to visit certain members of my family, I have to drive through Ohio. I try not to think about those days. Just gotta think about the family on the other side. Wait a second, wait a second. Do I have that? Okay, yep. Wait a second. Okay. Man, these things are like... They are definitely going to take a while to... Ooh, yeah, because the bottom of this... Yeah, the bottom of this bowl is still very toasty. Man, that's the thing with these chestnuts, though, is when you roast them, you gotta... It's like a good, 10-minute cool-down time on them. Brandon, how's this? Oh, yeah. It seems pretty good. It may not be warm, but it's well mixed, which is what we want for this. And it all... You can't tell how this... the syrup and butter have, combined. They're acting as one. Okay. So... Okay. They're a little warm still. But we're going to try and get these cracking. And so, since opening chestnuts is a very... So when I opened the first one or two at the beginning of this stream, I was like, man, this is a very ASMR-y type of sound. So while I open these, I'm gonna have this mic turned up, and I'm not gonna be talking, so that way you guys can hear the crackling of the chestnut shell. Okay. Okay. That was fun. Oi, oi. But yeah, I definitely didn't get as like aggressive as a roast on these because yeah, that first batch I had got a little on the burnt side. So the glad you liked it. Glad you liked it. So the shells weren't as brittle as the first round was, and that actually took a little bit more effort from me to open some of those. Granted, that was also because I made some of the X's a little bit too small, and when you make the X's a little bit too small, it doesn't break enough of the chestnut hole. And also, I do apologize for the neighbor's vehicle's backup beep at one point. I have given considerations to maybe doing a woodworking ASMR stream at some point. Yeah. This one was really tough to get out. And that's basically what these are. This one, this nut was just, it's just, honestly, it's just so far gone. I don't want to bother with it. But we're nearly done. And that, I also got to talk about a nice little benefit of, well, kind of one of the reasons why chestnuts are actually roasted. And that is the chestnut is actually, it has a hard shell, and then it actually has, there's actually a skin to the chestnut, which you can kind of see it at the bottom of all these holes. Like what you're looking at there is actually the skin of the chestnut. And what happens is when you roast a chestnut, you shrink the chestnut because the water boils out. Whereas otherwise you will end up with a whole bunch of like the skin. This is actually, if you were to just pop a chestnut apart without roasting it, you would see this. You'd see the skin, and the skin would be like tightly bound, as you can see. Chestnut's kind of like had a bit of a brain, not quite like a brain, like, but kind of sort of brainish texture to it. So that skin really binds to that chestnut really well. But hey, Kuma, welcome in, welcome in. But yeah, we're just cooking chestnuts. Whoa. I don't know if it was like amazing. I'd say, who knows, it probably would have been alright. Now granted, I almost want to talk about the, well, actually, this is actually a really good example here. So, I'm just here for the company. But here you have shell. This is the skin. Then you have the inner, the inner nut, which is a tasty bit. And also my fire really burned down. There we go. But yeah, roasting them really helps actually get that skin off. Because otherwise, if you're trying to get it off normally, it's actually a real pain in the butt. It's a massive pain in the butt. I hate doing it. put it that way. I really hate doing it. Ooh, bamboo leaf sticky rice. Nice. Actually, I'm just going to leave those there for aesthetics. That's what I'm going to do. That's fine. I do want a little bit more fire, though. Definitely want more fire. There we go. More fire. I have no idea why the security light decided to come on, but it did. And now things are very lit up right now. So, made this dipping sauce out of butter, maple syrup, and cinnamon. Now I want to taste how chestnut tastes with this stuff. Ooh. Actually, I know what I need to do. Oh man, that's good. That's really good. Like, the sweetness from the sauce is like really, really good. Well, the sweetness from the maple syrup, but it blends really well with the butter. I want to try making desserts with chestnuts. Oh hell yeah! I'm actually wanting to do some more dessert making for these campfire cooking streams once we get into spooky month. Holy smoke, spooky month is coming up quick. Spooky month is less than a week away, wow. And then if I can do the, I was originally do, I had a plan. Ah, there we go. But yeah, I wanted to stab it with the knife, so I could coat it all the way through, but all over. But man, I really like that though. Cinnamon goes really good with maple syrup, but I mean, like, well, actually, what is it? Brown sugar, cinnamon, maple syrup are like the top three things for me to put on the oatmeal. Nope. Easy now. I hate to break it to you, but it goes by faster and faster as you get older. Or at least a perceived speed of time flow. And there's actually a real good reason for that. And the reason for that is our brain basically has two systems. It has an A system that handles active conscious thought, and then it has like a background thought process. And basically these two thought processes support each other. So when something is new to you, it takes that first one, where something is like more routine, it's handled by the back thought process. And as we get older, we experience fewer and fewer novel events. So the background processor of the brain does more work. And when that happens, it seems like time's moving faster. But when you're exposed to less new stuff, well, everything just blends together. Like, if your days were literally just the same thing, again and again and again, time would fly amazingly fast. And for some people, that is desirable. But I think for most of us, not so desirable. For that, you need novelty. You need to, well, whoa. Hey now. Oh, snap. Okay. There's a fix for that. Which, give me a minute. I brought part of the fix, but not all of the fix. Wow. There we go. Hello, friend. Oh, wait, that's what I should have said. That's what I should have said. I should have said, hello, darkness, my old friend. Oh, wait, yeah, I also have that light. Yeah, because that's why my tracking's not working. There we go. That improves tracking. But we can do better. Ooh, wait. Can I get you there? That's there. My gloves are there. Actually, wait a second. We can show chat. Oh no, I forgot. Whoa! And there we go. But yeah, this is Coleman Kun, the provider of light in dark times. And I keep forgetting that this lighter, it doesn't make a really good consistent light. It has a really small flame to it. Which is why it takes a mini propane explosion to get that guy going. But hey, we got a little bit more light. And I am going to turn up the light here in a bit. At some point. Granted, my chestnuts have cooled down, but my iron is still warm. So, hopefully setting them on the skillet helps them warm up a bit. Granted, if I want the ultimate keep warm, that's the Dutch oven. Dutch oven's really great for throwing stuff into to keep it warm. That's what I did earlier this year when I made pancakes. But I do love the aesthetic of this, though. It's good aesthetic. But yeah, I'm going to work on finishing off the spear, probably have a few more chestnuts. then we'll actually get to the start of today's stream. The 114-year-old agricultural data. Oh man, that's really good. Internet, thank you. Thank you for your inspiration. It is a great and true, fundamental truth of this world that cinnamon and carbs were destined to be together. But yeah. Sitting on that pan is actually keeping them warm, but am I gonna see the thing I'm gonna dread to see? Nah, not too bad actually. Speak the truth, wise man. Well, yes. For there may be non-believers in the world, and they must know that cinnamon and carbs are a combination that should always be celebrated. Granted, I did a lot better job roasting these. That first batch had a lot of ones I roasted a little too much and they got like crunchy. All the ones I've had so far from this batch been very good, very good. Cinnamon sugar ravioli. Wow, this great and amazing dwarf has blessed us with knowledge of great treasure that I think from this day forth we shall make some manner of effort to save your. Oh man, that sounds good. Great, you know what? I actually do need to make ravioli again. Oh! Ah! They're really good. They have ricotta and butter is the sauce. Oh no! Butter is the sauce! Dough down round 2. Oh gosh. Okay. So, this was before you were showing up around here, Dad's old shop, and I'm glad this happened before you started showing up. But I attempted ravioli once, and I actually made the raviolis by hand. it was unfortunately, I did that stream on the day where I made unwise decisions, and I was wretchedly hungover. I'm pretty sure Campfire Ravioli is the stream I was most hungover and did. I know I've had to cancel a few streams because of hangover. I think I've canceled like 2 or 3. Or just reschedule. Yeah. Because Calmbert Curry Pernafe, I was originally doing it as a morning stream. But I think I was... But yeah. I was hungover for that. But it wasn't bad as the ravioli stream. The ravioli stream I probably should not have done. I was really unwell during that stream. So, we've got a couple chestnuts left. They're warming on the skillet. Still got plenty of our cinnamon butter sauce with maple syrup. Granted, we're starting to get to the bottom of it, which is good. We'll probably have enough for the remainder of what we got. And I still have 1 beer left in the cooler. And you know what? We are nearly 2 hours in. Have not done any reviewing of 114-year-old agricultural data. But it is dark now. And I don't know, actually, I almost have to know the current air temperature right now. I have to know the current air temperature. Because this is like cozy air temperature. 67. Oh, yes, that's what I love. Yes. 67. So, I've got to use the little homesteader's room. So I'm going to throw the BRB screen on. And then after that, we're actually going to start reviewing some agricultural data. So, look forward to it. Okay, and we're back. And I have beer. And this is going to be number 2 for the night. Let's grab a few of these guys. Oh, wow. Did you, like, extra toast up? Ooh, please don't be hard. Soft, yes. Okay. I can live with soft chestnuts. Okay. Okay. Also, the light came back on. I don't know why. This light behaves very weirdly. I cannot predict it. But we have the yearbook of the Department of Agriculture from 1911. What a good year it was, I guess. So, also the bookseller had a sale, so I just paid slightly less than 25 buckaroonies for it, but good stuff. Hey now, don't get coals on my book. This book is old. I can't. They're not printing any more of these things. I could probably find it on the Internet Archive though. But yeah. Oh. Here we have the dashing gentleman, Comp Seaman Ashell, who I'm presuming was the current head of the U.S. Department of Agriculture when this book was printed. So, very dashing man. I like that guy. He's got a good look to him. Preface, only nerds read the preface. So, general contents of this book is it starts off with a report from the secretary, and then at that point we get into all this. These are studies. These are all studies. For example, our first study is our Mid-Pacific Bird Reservation, followed up by reduction of waste and marketing. But I learned a lot of this stuff is actually like pretty like kind of boring sounding, but there's also some kind of funny ones that I like the Weather Bureau and the cranberry industry. I don't know what the Weather Bureau and the cranberry industry are doing in cahoots, but I have physical 100-plus-year-old evidence that they're in cahoots somehow. Oh, granted, actually, I need to check this. I need to check this one out. Important American soils. I need to look into that. And then there's also tree planting by farmers. I gotta look into that. Seasonal distribution of labor on the farm. Decomposition and its microscopical detection in food products. Crawfish as crop destroyers. Rotations in the Corn Belt. The winds of the United States and their economic uses. We were using wind a long time ago, before we knew what electricity was. Granted, I mean, we knew what electricity was when this book was written, but still. I still think that's a funny joke. Business aspect of national forest timber sales. I wonder who was president in 1911. I want to say it might have been Taft. I don't know if Taft was before or after Roosevelt. I don't know. Plant introduction for the plant breeder. We have promising new fruits. Promising new fruits is going to be very important. I really want to get into that. And then it's based. It gets into like lots of studies and such, which is like really, really good stuff. But then we get to the Index. And in the Index is we have the Organization of the United States Department of Agriculture, publications of the United States Department of Agriculture and how they are distributed, Review of weather conditions 1911. So we can get access to old weather data. Agricultural colleges in the United States. Ooh, my college might be on that list. Agricultural experiment stations of the United States, their locations and directors. Officials in charge of agriculture, and then we get to this long thing. This is statistics of principal crops. So we have corn, wheat, oats, barley. Ooh, I like barley. Rye, buckwheat, potatoes. I like potatoes. Hay, clover and timothy seed, cotton, tobacco, flaxseed, rice. Hello, hops. How you doing? And beans, sugar, tea. Whoa, wait, what? Why is the U.S. growing tea? I gotta do some research into that. Coffee, oil cake and oil cake meal, rosin, turpentine, Indian rubber, silk, and wood pulp. Which is funny because I think some of these things are better handled by the Department of Forestry, but hey, they're here. And there's farm animals and their products, transportation statistics and rates, imports and exports of agricultural products, and imports and exports of forest products. And then it's indexed. But we also have, it also comes with a really nice list of illustrations. But yeah, we're gonna be doing some flipping around, some readings, some general looking overs of old agricultural data. Fun stuff that excites me. But I also don't want my beloved fire to hurt my beloved book, so I'm going to try to eat some of my fire a little bit further away, because just from that brief period of time, I can feel there's a little bit of warmth to that, which is undesirable. Okay. Oh wow, yeah, I'm actually really getting to the bottom of my mix. It's actually starting to thicken up and really coat the chestnuts. Yeah. Oh wow. Oh man. Okay, I made a mistake not letting it get thick like that, because my gosh, that's amazing. There's so much more cinnamon on it. Yep. Oh. But yeah, we lost light. No big deal. We got the Coleman. Let's see here. So. Oh, wow. Yeah, actually. Woo! Hey, Pokemon card. I can actually... Boy. Don't be getting sparks on my book, man. Kind of. Actually, let's do tree planting by farmers. Yeah. Holy smokes. This fire is spitting. So, tree planting by farmers 2. Hey, please don't be doing this while my book's out, okay? It's 2 set. Ooh, wow. Ooh. Illustrations. Okay, that's 200. Ooh, we're really close. Really close. Oh, yeah. Ha 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 ha. Tree Planting by Farmers by C.R. Tolson. Forest Assistant Forest Service. Tree practice and purpose of tree planting. Farmers are responsible for 90% of approximately 1 million acres of forest plantations in the United States today. Of these million acres, 860,000 are found in what is known as the Central Treeless Region, which includes states of Illinois, Iowa, North Dakota, South Dakota, Nebraska, Kansas, the Prairie District of Minnesota, and those portions of Oklahoma and Texas lying west of the hardwood belt, while 1,000 acres are found east of it, 40,000 west. Older settled portion of the treeless region of Illinois, Iowa, Nebraska, Kansas. Oh. That last snap crackle pop actually put a hole on my keyboard. Is on the decrease. Plantations of such rapidly growing species of white willow, soft maple. This is soft maple that's burning right now. And common cottonwood, established 30 to 40 years ago, chiefly for the protection from winds, are now being cut because they are mature and for the most part are situated on land that is more favorable for agricultural than for the production of timber of low value. Because, in fact, most of the land in the states last mentioned has a high value for agricultural. Future planting in this region is likely to be confronted from Okay, yeah, one of those coals just hit my knee, so that was exciting. Okay, so I'm still hungry, so I need a bookmark. Bookmarked. But yeah, what I will probably do for this portion of the stream is we'll do like we'll kind of like review the study. I will like read like the first little bit of it, and then I'll kind of like flip through and skim read, and then talk about the stuff I think is Oh my gosh, look at that. Look how much cinnamon's on that. Oh my gosh. The intensity, the flavor of the syrup has like intense in flavor. Wow. Okay, so I should. Oh my gosh, look at that. It's like a gel that sticks to the chestnuts. Oh my goodness. Mm-hmm. Yep, it's a good time to be alive. I mean, it's always a good time to be alive because when you're alive, you get to have fun. But I'm glad I made that. Really glad I made that. Okay. So, let's do some skim reading of this tree planting by farmers and kind of see what sort of interesting information there. We do have some illustrations in here. So far it's been mostly talking about treeless regions, i.e. regions that traditionally have not grown trees. And the thing is, the reason why trees are planted in areas like that is farmers will plant what's called shelter belts, where they'll plant rows of trees along the edges of their fields. And those are primarily meant to slow down and break up wind to keep the wind from blowing over their crops, because wind damage to crops is a very real thing. especially in these areas, these traditionally treeless areas, without any trees being open plain. Well, open plain, now open crop. Some crops don't have really strong root systems and can't take that high wind, so they need trees to provide shelter, which that seems to be the main focus. In the hardwood region, black walnut, white ash, and hardy catalpa grow well in addition conditions which are essential for the best growth of these species, and their rates of growth are similar to those described of them in the treeless region. Black walnut grows well on the well-drained, strong clay soils or on rich, dark, sandy loams, but will do nothing on pure sand. Yes, walnut won't do anything on pure sand. Both white and green ash grow on clay loams and given promise for planting on worn-out clay loam soils. So it's going through the various regions of the U.S. and then talking about, ooh, and so we got a section on successful methods for tree planting. Something that I am very much a fan of. And it talks about thorough preparation of the soil. Granted, I feel like it's weird it talks about plowing and harrowing as conserving soil moisture. That's like, it's usually not how that goes. And then our next section is on planting stock, which planting stock is the various trees, like selecting trees. And then we get into cultivation, which here we have a green ash transplantation, about 40 years old in the state of Illinois. Which, that's granted, I do like how this book is so old. They are not called photos. They are called plates. Because the original like photographic material was actually plates. Ooh. Okay. So. Do I need that light higher up? I need that light higher up. Or okay. Well, I tried. I tried to get that light on, which I think I actually need to take it off security light mode for these streams, because it would be nice to turn it on and off, but so it's really hard for you guys to see the details here. I know this species of tree with just this photo, and also just that tree that my finger's on. So what we have here, because the leaves are clearly a pine, we have a pine. Not only that, we have a pine where all the branches grow at one level. Like all the branches come out like spokes around the hub of a wagon. That is eastern white pine. Granted, this book is making me look very dumb right now, calling that a red pine plantation. That should be eastern white pine, though. That should be an eastern white pine plantation, not a red pine. I mean, granted, I don't 100% know, because red pine doesn't grow in my area. And then that's spruce. Damn it, book. I was trying to be smart in front of chat, and I failed miserably. Ooh, we got a table. We got a table of information. Oh, okay. So, the far column is species of tree. Then it talks about region tree is suited for, soil, spacing, planting method, products. I do like that. I like a good table. Okay. And so that concludes that little bit of information. So I'm going to take my book, set it off to the side, because I've still got chestnuts here. I've got chestnuts, and I have them in a very delicious sauce, which was a mistake. Well, no, the sauce was not a mistake. The mistake was discovering how absolutely amazing it is. I mean, granted, you only get amazing results when you combine maple syrup and cinnamon. I feel like this is the most I've ever eaten on the stream. Granted, I know that's not true. I don't know if I've eaten more on the stream or not. Okay, so I've got one last chestnut in my sauce, and I'm going to eat this guy, and then I'm going to skip to my favorite part of the book. Let's see. Oh man. Ooh, water's just such a wonderful palate cleanser. But yeah, I set my skillet over there to help it pick up some heat so it can help keep those chestnuts warm. Because I wanted to keep those chestnuts warm. So, with those chestnuts heated up a little bit, we're going to go to my favorite part of this book, and what, in my opinion, is one of the more important parts of this book. At least, like, there's a lot of good information in here from a couple different perspectives. And, like, weather data, old weather data can be really good information to have. What crops grow where, how the prices of crops have changed over a period of time. There's a lot of good information on all that stuff. All good information to know. But I think there is one aspect of this book that really stood out to me when I was flipping through it. And that is where I have this Pokemon card. And this is promising new fruits. So, and some people might be wondering, okay, it's talking about new fruit. here's the thing. This is talking about new fruit from 100 plus years ago. There is a lot. There's actually quite a fair number of people out there that just go out to abandoned land, find old apple varieties, other varieties of fruits, and takes cuttings to graft to regrow and reestablish that variety of fruit again, because it's a way of preserving lost information. But the thing is, with all these old apple varieties or like other varieties of crops, once we lose, it's very easy to lose the information that allows us to identify that variety. And here we're talking about varieties of plants that are, and I love the gorgeous, like, full illustrations, which I would like to show you guys. I could have better light if I could. Ooh, wait. That could work. This might work too well. If it works too well, then wonderful. Oh, there we go. Ah, yes. Okay. But here we go. So, absolutely gorgeous illustrations. So this is the Cornell apple. So it's Cornell apple. Cornell apple, strictly speaking, is not a new variety yet is unknown to a large portion of growers. It has apparently been in existence for 100 years or perhaps longer. What appears to be an authentic account of its origin published in 1869. Okay, so now we're referencing a old book referencing older sources, which is another use of old information at like this level, is finding out even older references to look up. It states that Cornell's fancy apple originated some 60 or 70 years ago from the farm of Gilliam Cornell near the Street Road in Southampton Township, Bucks County, Pennsylvania. From the dates mentioned, it is evident that this variety originated in the last part of the 18th or the first part of the 19th century. Origin of trees appears to have been a fence row seedling. In its early years, it attracted considerable local attention, and many scions of it were distributed in adjoining portions of Philadelphia and Montgomery counties. The first public description appears to have been that of Downing in 1857. So it then goes into deep account. Good growth and is usually productive. Fruit should not be left on the tree too long. It has a tendency to crack and become mealy when fully ripe. Although it has quite widely disseminated, it is grown only in very limited quantities and is largely unknown in markets. So, while this is not necessarily like a new fruit or anything, it's attempting to like, hey, this is a cool thing. Perhaps we should pay a little bit more attention to it. Ooh, we get another apple. Just want to... Oh. So that is... Wait. How do my pages line up? Am I missing pages? Because this is describing the San Giannico apple. Oh, we're actually just describing apples at this point. Oh, this is just a section on plates. Okay. The Shiasali. Okay. Apple. That looks like a really good apple. Ooh. Wait a second. Eye pear. Whoa, I need to look into that. I need to look into the eye pear. Okay, so Okay, so this is actually, so it's now actually going through the descriptions, because they just had like a thing of plates. Now we're going through descriptions. I have to go to that eye pear. The IE pear originated about 30 years ago as a chance seedling that came up in a vineyard owned by Mr. O.H. Iyer near Sibley, Douglas County, Kansas. The small seedling tree had made a growth of only 2 to 3 leaves when discovered. Mr. Iyer had a spade with him at the time, transplanted at once just outside the vineyard where it's still standing. It was much neglected for some years and is rather late in coming into bearing, not fruiting until it was 10 years old. Tree is rather low, upright grower, similar to the barret tree in form, but the foliage is dark colored like that of seckel. The owner is inclined to think it was a seedling of the latter, as the tree of that variety only stood a few rods distance from the place where the original tree first appeared. His assumption is that someone, in passing through the vineyard while eating a shekel pear from the nearby tree of that variety, once threw the core to the ground, and that tree in question came from one of the seeds which it contained. It's been propagated to a very limited extent, but not disseminated commercially. Form ovate, size medium, cavity irregular, medium to large, depth medium. So the reason why I'm kind of like really into this is like, I think I may have had that pear. It's self-sterile up until present, has shown no tendency to blight, rather slow habit of growth favoring in this respect. Its production says to be equal to the Barnett. Considerable merit for the Middle West. Buttery, melting. I don't know if that's the pear, because the park where I do my volunteering at, we have some pear trees from where the land was once like a actual like farm, homestead, that sort of deal. And I've had some of those pears from that one pear tree, and at least as far as I can superficially tell just by looking at the picture here, I'm pretty sure I've actually had some of that pear. So that's really cool. That's really cool. I like that. And then we have Russell peach. In the development of new peach varieties with a view to extending the culture of this fruit, especially in middle and northern latitudes. Improvement along the increase of hardiness offers perhaps a wider field for advancement almost than any other. Any variety which possesses merit as to dessert and shipping qualities, productiveness, etc., and which can withstand without injury unusually low temperatures in winter or early spring, is likely to prove an important factor in the peach industry as soon as its characteristics become generally known. The Russell peach appears to be a variety which possesses these qualities to a considerable degree. Cool. So it first came about in Nebraska. Ooh, Larry plum. Larry plum is a variety which has gradually assumed much regional importance in the last few years. Now, what's kind of fun about plums is, like, I actually had some wild plum like a few weeks ago. Which was pretty alright as far as like a wild plum. It wasn't like too tart, which usually plums can be a little bit tart. Panatari grape, which some people consider a currant. Or, yeah, currant. That seems reasonable pronunciation of that. Oh, it's a variety that came from Greece. That's cool. I do like that. It's always kind of fun to see stuff that's just come over here. Thompson Orange. Oh wait, we got lights again. I have no idea what causes my lights to kick off. They're supposed to be motion lights, but they don't necessarily work that well. But I think you guys can get like a little bit better of a view here. Whew, okay. So that is some of our various new fruits, or at least new when this book was published, or like not particularly like well known at the time, but also just, hey, we found this cool, neat thing growing somewhere and decided to cultivate more of it. And that's usually like how new varieties of plants like come about, is like someone sees something growing in a field or what have you and goes, oh hey, look at that, that's something neat. Woo! But yeah. So I think we'll go through the crop statistics a little bit. And then after we go through that, I'll probably end stream. So my first mission on that is to find the page where that begins. Statistics of principal crops, page 519. So we're going to be going pretty deep into the book. It's also kind of cool to see, because this is kind of like how, whoa, because essentially what this is like how old, how like scientific information would be conveyed back then, especially the people who wanted to know, like, you know, like there's farmers would want to know this information, different sorts of people. Oh my god. Oh yeah. Oh my gosh, this is cool stuff. So, speaking like really old technology. So this is a new respiration calorimeter with part of outer protective covering removed. So this is a calorimeter from like ye olden times, and essentially so a calorimeter is those nutrition facts on various food stuff. Calorimeters are how food labs figure out how many actual calories are in that said food item. Granted, we were looking at some really, really early examples of like this technology. Because I mean, like, this is electronics back when electronics were like wild, because they were just, this was like the newest stuff. Okay, we're getting real close. We're in the 500s. Ampedex. We've accomplished the Ampedex. oh no. Oh, this is gonna hurt some people. Might as well let's hurt some people. Okay. So this is talking about agricultural colleges in the United States. In accepted cases, scholarships are open to promising and energetic students, and in all, opportunities are found for some to earn part of their expenses by their own labor. The expenses are $125 to $300 for the school year. That is a tuition rate. $125 to $300 for a year of schooling. And then it has a whole list. Which is funny because I don't think the GoPro is going to pick up on the accuracy of this information, but hey, here's a college I attended. Granted, I didn't graduate from it. Wait, what? Wait, say what? Say what? Okay. This has United States information, Canada, Mexico, Argentina, Chile, Hungary. Austria-Hungary is listed as a country here. Oh wow, this is... So, for those who don't know, Austria-Hungary is no longer a thing. Wow. I wasn't expecting this to have, like, international levels of information in it. That's actually really... But yeah, a lot of this is just going to break down into... Wait, what? So there's statistics... Okay, so... Because they have breakdowns off country, and then they have a couple year breakdowns. But then they have these tables. Acreage, production, value, prices, and exports of corn. And there's date. So some of this data actually goes kind of far back. Some of my opening columns over here is 1866. So back in 1866, the average farm price of a bushel of corn was 47 cents, 0.4. And then there's the Chicago price. Because there's actually a lot of commodity trading that happens in Chicago. Historically, for a very long time. Chicago has been like a hub of agriculture. And then we also have like state breakdowns. Oh man, this is cool. I'm sorry, I'm a nerd. Sorry guys, you're dealing with a nerd who likes to look at 114-year-old agricultural data. But yeah, you know what? We've been talking a lot about hops, and hops are here. Oh no, I hit right. That means I skipped the barley. I mean, I think this stuff is cool. It's fun to look through, and also just like these books are just an aesthetic, man. Like, also built solid. We're mostly a nerd for something. Yeah. I'm just a plant nerd, though. That's kind of actually another part of the reason why I purchased this book is because I'm just a massive plant nerd. Okay, cotton, come on. Where's my hops? Hey, look, tobacco. Oh, okay, that's. Okay, so the GoPro doesn't quite pick up that detail super well, but this is back during the era of the Japanese Empire. Man, wild times. Wild times. Yeah, like, the statistics today is like Japan such. In 1911, it's Empire of Japan. Back in... Gosh. Love using the gloom as a bookmark. Oh, thank you. Wait a second. Oh. Oh, man. Like, I think Pokemon card art just goes so hard. Like, it's really great stuff. And also just I had Pokemon cards next to where I was keeping this book, and I was wanting to like bookmark a couple of places that I was interested in referencing later, and we finally made it to where we wish to end up at. And that is hops. So we've got United States. So here's our countries. Here's our countries that we have agricultural information from for hops. We've got the United States. We got Austria-Hungary. We got Belgium, France, Germany, Netherlands, Russia, United Kingdom, England. And then we have Australia, New Zealand, and yeah, okay, cool. So we actually don't have a whole lot of country breakdown. But in 1911, the world then understood a very important fact that we know and appreciate today. And that is Australia and New Zealand can grow some really darn good hops. Like, there are times where craft breweries will actually make beers with just hops from Australia and New Zealand. And a reason for that is the soil there. The soil there helps impart some like really interesting and unique flavors that you won't see out of what are called Old World or New World hops. Because generally speaking, hops and their various varieties are divided into New World, Old World. Old World is like Europe. No, wait. I think it's noble hops. Noble hops is Old World, whereas I think hop varieties that originate in the US and Canada are called New World hops. A very easy, common New World hop would say be Cascade, which I don't know if these are going to have variety breakdowns. I'm not expecting them to have variety breakdowns, but granted, I am glad to see that this book reinforces cultural stereotypes. So, Netherlands produced the least amount of hops. So it's easiest for me to read the 19. So this column's 1907. We got 1907, 1908, 1909, 1910, and 1911. So, Netherlands didn't do a whole lot of hop cultivation. Belgium, though. Belgium did 6.7 million pounds. A lot of hops. France, 8.6 million hops. Well, 8.6 million pounds of hops. And then we have Russia, being Russia, at an incredible 12.6 million pounds of hops. And then England, the United Kingdom, the sun never sets on the British Empire, clocking in at a massive 41.9 million pounds of hops in 1907. And then we have our heavyweight champion of beer and all things beer culture, Germany, at 53.2 million pounds of hops produced in 1907. That would make crazy quantity of beer. You gonna lurk for a bit while you get some painting in? Oh, okay. I mean, gaming. I mean, honestly, I'm just gonna do a quick go through of some like hop statistics that I think are interesting, and I'll end stream because, yeah, I normally don't go on this long, and it's actually getting pretty close. I need to get a shower and then go to bed. Oh wow. There's actually not a lot of hop. There's actually very little information on hops. So, because it's like, because we have this, and then we also have prices. Oh wow, the pricing information even goes further back. Well, no. I got ahead of myself. Ooh, we got pricing. So at its height in 1898 in Cincinnati, choice rated hops were at 20 cents, and I'm presuming bushel price. I don't know if it's okay. It's per pound price. Okay, wholesale prices of hops per pound. Okay, so Cincinnati clocked in at 20 cents. And for some reason, they have old information for Cincinnati, but they also don't have like more recent information for Cincinnati. Holy smokes, 1910 was a very explosive year for hops. Whoa, even, man, we got some really high prices here for a pound of hops. Like, we got like up to like 50 some odd cents per pound. Really high prices of hops. Okay. And then we also have the export. So let's see here. Actually, we exported the most amount of hops to Germany. So Germany's, even despite the crazy amount of hops. Wait, is that their exports or our exports? It just says international trade in hops. So so United States is listed. So okay, so that's how many hops that each country exported, which, hey, you know what? Germany was number one in hop exporting in 1906, but hey, you know what? US, we did a solid number 2. And then we also have importing totals, which, interestingly enough, United Kingdom was number 1 in importing. Really needed to import a lot of hops. Also followed up by us in the United States. Oh, also Belgium was also kind of high too at 5.4 million. Okay. And then, of course, like, this information changes year over year. Because, yeah, United Kingdom is still importing a lot of hops, but some more than others. Germany also did a lot of importing in 1910. Interesting. And then we got sugar. Oh, yeah, wait. Granted, it's interesting because we actually have, like, rosin and turpentine, which are tree products. But granted, we can also look at the history of Indian rubber, which that was kind of the reason. Okay, so this is what I was wondering about, because I saw tea when I was looking through the big list, but it looks like coffee is getting a lot of attention. But you know what? I'm primarily a tea enjoyer, but you know what? I can respectfully let coffee have its time in the sun. So, let's see. Some of our top producers of tea was British India, Caledon, China, Dutch East Indies. Oh man, back in the ye old day. Formosa, Japan, Singapore, other countries. And then we have the import market. Holy smokes. Well, the UK sure loves tea. Let's see, I want the biggest number I can get. Okay, yeah, biggest number I can get. So in 1910, the United Kingdom imported 287 million pounds of tea. That's a lot of tea. Because, like, United Kingdom is one of the few countries that breaks triple digits consistently. The only other country that was hitting, like, so many... Interesting they list Formosa is different from Japan at the time. Yeah. Like, it's... Times were wild then. But yeah, Russia is the only one that was, like, importing, like, 9 figures. Yes, this was before standardized shipping containers. Like, this is actually from the era of the porters and the beer they sure like to drink, porter, because it was laborious amount of work to just take a ship and just stuff it full of crates and barrels until it couldn't hold any more crates and barrels. Which, I mean, nowadays there's a modern version of the porter, and that is the people who work at Amazon, and when they go through the aisles and they tell them to stick stuff into a location, and they just kind of have to jam it into that location and make it fit, because they have to stick the thing where their scan gun tells them where to stick this thing. And oh man, why did I end up on forest products? I like forest products. But I've got to resist temptation. I got to resist temptation big time, because I've still got 4.5 chestnuts to finish. My fire's nearly out, and I also would really like to go to bed at some point tonight. So, with all that said, I'd like to say thank you very much, everyone who tuned in today. I don't know how much people were looking forward to the 114-year-old agricultural information, but I didn't know how long I would spend on the chestnuts, and I also did not envision doing chestnut ASMR. So, hey, did a thing for the first time today. So, don't know, have no idea when next stream is, because next week I'm going to be on call. So I just have to, I'll have a schedule out posted sometime on Sunday. So thanks for stopping by, and hopefully I'll see y'all on the next one. Bye-bye.